Like I said, with a fatality rate of upwards of 70%, we don't want to see that sucker sweep across here. That'd be a very ugly and sad situation all across the globe. Anyway, let's pop this article up right here, right now. Feel free to read through the details on this. Let me explain some of the details on this. All right, so this is called Nipah virus. Maybe I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. It's Nipah. Nipah? Drop your comment down below. How do you think that's pronounced? I think it's Nipah. It could be something else. I don't know. That's what I'm going to say. But here's the deal. Only a handful of people so far in India have contracted this, but it's not a good situation, okay? These individuals, once they contract this, between about 4 and 14 days is when the initial symptoms start to show up, and that could just be like flu-like symptoms, nausea, maybe vomiting, fever, things like this. Not that big of a deal. But maybe a handful of days later, this individual is likely going to fall into a coma. So you go from being like, I feel like a little sick today and not feeling all that great, to all of a sudden this individual is in a coma. Not a good situation, right? Yeah, that's a scary situation. Now, here's what else was very interesting about this one. It's a zoonotic virus. What this means is it can be transferred from animals and humans, okay? So it could be transmitted between a human to human with very close contact, and it could also be transferred from animals to humans. So could you imagine that, right? It's like a double whammy. Stay away from everybody and everything that's living, right? Just like stay away from everything because anything could give it to you, right? So no, here's the deal with this. It is not reported in the United States as of yet. And let's just be real. Let's hope it does not make its way to the United States as of right now. But we don't know. That's why we need to continue to keep an eye on this. Now, the WHO, again, the World Health Organization, is keeping an eye on this. They do have a couple confirmed cases in India so far. And again, as we're sitting here in the United States, we might be thinking, it's India, East India, like it's not going to make its way here. Did we feel the exact same way about COVID about 6 years ago when it was in China? And we're like, it's not going to come here. Come on, that's China. That's so far away. It was not that much longer, and sure enough, it's everywhere in the United States, right? So I'm not suggesting that it's coming here, this new Nipah virus. I'm not saying that's coming here. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the doctor. I'm not the scientist. I don't know. I'm just saying this is something that sounds eerily similar to what we experienced about 6 years ago in early 2020 when we're all just living our lives, and then sure enough, things start to get canceled. We're told to stay home, and we're like, what is going on here? This seems really, really weird. I'm pretty sure everything's fine, right? And then sure enough, like it was not much longer later, we're like literally just being told to stay at home. Don't move. You just stay at home, right? You come out of your house, you're going to get a fine or whatever. Anyway, it was a nasty situation. So this is the next one that we're watching very closely. And again, after the whole COVID situation, maybe all of us are maybe just a little bit more sensitive to some of these headlines that are out there. And, oh, we got a new virus. Oh my, it's this new big thing. Is this going to be the next one? Nobody knows, right? And again, maybe we're just more sensitive to it now after going through the whole COVID situation. Or maybe, there's a ton of viruses like this that have always been out there. And maybe we've just kind of overlooked all these different things and not really thought much of it. But after COVID, we're like, uh-oh, is this going to be the next one? I don't know. Yet to be seen, right? But either way, here's the super scary part about this. This one also has a fatality rate of between 40 and 70%. Now, I'm going to be fair with you. I did not look up the fatality rate of COVID. Maybe I did like 5-6 years ago, something like that. I don't remember what it was. I don't know currently what it is as of right now. I think it was relatively low, like sub 1%. Again, don't quote me on that. You can feel free to drop some comments down below if you know the fatality rate of COVID, of exactly what that was. Again, I'm not trying to say like it was not a big deal. I'm not saying that it was a huge deal. I'm just saying I don't know what the fatality rate of COVID was. And I haven't looked it up in many, many years. If I ever did, honestly, I don't even really know. But it was, significantly lower than 40 to 70%. That's the big deal about this. So that if this new Nipah virus actually gets out, and if it starts spreading around, this would be a nasty one. This would be really, really nasty, right? That is a very, very high fatality rate. And it sounds like in a matter of days from contracting this, the individual is having flu-like symptoms and then falling into a potential coma, literally in days. I don't know about you. That sounds scary, right? You like